Hi there, you're listening to Unnatural Selection, the show about newsy type stuff and things. My name is George.
My name is Tom.
And my name is Adam.
And with our powers combined, we are Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. We do not have time for pleasantries. We need to get immediately into this show because we have got a 10-gallon show in a 5-gallon hat. So this is a news and politics podcast, and we're doing it now. Lydia Thorpe is an Australian Indigenous senator, and this week she was not very happy with King Charles. Adam, as your resident white people correspondent, can you please tell us what was going through King Charles's mind as he was sitting there slowly passing away from this veil of tears?
It's a good question. I do wonder sort of what they think, but I look at it's something that the royals have experienced before to various extents.
The consequences of colonization that they did.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually it comes with the territory of conquering half the world.
Well, at the moment, apparently in the UK, there's a push for there are various peoples throughout the Commonwealth who are pushing for reparations from the British government, which is currently a thing. So it'd be in the context of that. But
to which Keir Starmer has said, no, none of that, please.
We can do that, just not while I'm in charge.
Yeah, can we wait till we lose the next election in 4.5 years and then let the Tories handle it?
So King Charles and Queen Camilla have visited Australia, mostly I think Sydney and a couple of little stops, but
couple of little stops. You mean Canberra?
Canberra, yeah, a little stop.
It's where this happened.
Little itty bitty stop.
Little stop in the capital. So he was. I think there'd just been a sitting of he'd just been present in Parliament or been welcomed to Parliament or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then Lydia Thorpe, being Lydia Thorpe, the doors burst open. She came striding in.
Pretty epic.
It was a bit of a boss move, to be honest.
I'm kind of torn with this because I'm no fan of Lydia Thorpe. But also anything that makes King Charles uncomfortable is my oeuvre. So I'm kind of really torn between, but look, far be it from me to tell an Indigenous woman how to protest. There's been a lot of that in the news this week. And we're like, oh, she didn't protest the right way. It's like, well, we're all fucking talking about it. So obviously it was successful. You don't get on the BBC, but being polite, politely declining the king's invitation. That's not really how it works.
And also if you have a beef with your country being colonized by the British monarchy, the best person to be
you got to go to the source.
Directing that ire to is the fucking monarch.
Yeah, 100%.
Britain, right? So who else was she meant to yell at?
Sorry, should I have gone to the state my my representative? Did the Governor General pass on a sternly worded letter? How is it supposed to be communicated? But protest by its nature is meant to be inconvenient, and I hate all the kind of
the hot takes of it.
Just the kind of tone policing that people do about no, this wasn't the right way to protest, and it's okay, but that's what protest is. It's supposed to be inconvenient. So
sorry you were late to work, but the planet's dying.
Yeah. So So here's a clip of Lydia Thorpe yelling at King Charles and making him uncomfortable, which I enjoy.
Give us what you stole from us. Our bones, our skulls, our babies, our people. You destroyed our land. Give us a treaty. This is not your land. This is not your land. You are not my kids. You are not our king.
I'm pretty sure she, despite saying not her king, she does, to get into Parliament, you have to swear.
Okay. Yes. So this was a whole thing.
Where she does swear.
So when she was sworn in 2022, she said, or whatever it is, I pledge allegiance to the Queen. And she said, I pledge allegiance to the colonizer Queen. And they're like, no, you have to do it properly. She goes, fine. I pledge allegiance.
Under duress, I'll do it.
I pledge allegiance to the Queen and her heirs. And at the time I noted that, I was like, does she not know how to pronounce like an heir to the throne.
Oh, no.
And then no, she's like, no, I said it different, so like it doesn't count. And I was like, that's not how that works at all, Lydia.
But does that also mean that you're then technically allowed
not
to
a senator?
be in Parliament?
Like, because there's a couple of years worth of paychecks that we should be getting back then if that's the case.
I believe that "you're not my king, you're not our king," etc., is a reference to Indigenous peoples. Like,
yes, I understand.
You are not our king. Like,
I know
yes, there's technicalities. Yeah, there's technicalities as to whether or not that would then mean that you can or can't serve in Parliament. But I think the message as a whole, and yeah, you know what? I think fair enough. I think a majority of the criticism for Lydia Thorpe is usually just when her protests are done poorly, like stopping the wrong floats and things like that. But no, you know what? She took her moment. It was I think timing was great. The audience was perfect. Like, yep.
Yeah,
there's nothing better.
I still haven't reconciled in my head the I'm a part of the system, but I'm also protesting the system thing.
Yeah, well, but this is what she is. She is an activist. Like for all intents and purposes, that is what she is. She's not really a politician. She's an activist who comes and yells at things. And it's like, as long as you understand that that's her brand and that is what she does as her role as a senator, an independent senator for Victoria, like, I think that's fine. Like, there's room in the system for inside pressure and outside pressure. I would argue that. So inside pressure being people who work within the system, elected representatives, and outside pressure being activist groups who put pressure on those representatives to enact change, right? And I would argue that the greater power, if you think about it, is being an inside representative force for change, because you can actually affect change with legislation, which I would argue is the whole point of being elected into a legislative body. But like if she wants to lob bombs and her voters vote for her on that basis, then that's fine. If only there was a legislative body, some sort of voice to Parliament that was enshrined in legislation that could make those kind of representations to enact a treaty with the sovereign being, King Charles. I wonder, how did Lydia vote on that again? I'm just checking my notes and boop, 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 boop. Oh, that's right. She assiduously encouraged people to vote against the voice to Parliament. So it's kind of like, well, that would be the way of achieving the thing that you seem to so ardently want. But there is interesting how there's an interview with the BBC after this where she talks about this at length, which we've got linked to the show notes, where the black sovereignty stuff, talking about how, Australia, the land was never ceded, which is true. There's no treaty with our, Indigenous peoples, unlike with New Zealand and with other countries that have had a similar kind of colonial settler past. The black sovereignty movement, the way she describes it, seems almost slightly reminiscent to me of like the sovereign citizen movement. The idea that like there's a kind of like separation between like the reality of the state as it exists, right? And the conception of sovereignty that they have in their mind as to like, or like, we've never acceded to this. We've never...
Yeah, just rejecting the authority of...
Rejecting the authority of the state, right? And I think there is that kind of a Venn diagram where, there is a little bit of overlap between those two kinds of communities. And like, whilst I think on the side of black sovereignty, you're probably a little bit more entitled to that perspective as someone who's been like colonized. It does strike me as interesting how much overlap there is between those two kind of groups, because I'm always of the impression that like, in order to like... possession is 9/10 of the law, as they say. And the Australian government has been here in some form or another since whatever, 1700s. And so the reality is that whether you personally have acceded to it or not, the Australian government exists. It has existed for several hundred years prior to you being born. And so the reality is that is the structure that is in place, regardless of whether you personally have agreed to it or not. So you need to work within the structure as it stands in order to affect change. So I'm just a little bit dubious of the whole movement per se, as I understand it. But like I said, again, far be it from us three white guys on a podcast to tell an Indigenous woman how to protest. So,
heck no. And
to get, fill your boots. Look, I'm thrilled with King Charles being uncomfortable. Yeah.
I'm 100% for it. That was great.
It made international headlines. So, I mean, the job done, I guess, in that instance. Not making international headlines, but probably should be. Also in Australia, the Northern Territory government has passed new laws that lower the age of criminal responsibility to 10 years old. That is about 2 years after the previous government raised the age to 12. The Country Liberal Party recently-ish won government in the Northern Territory, and this was on a campaign of cracking down on antisocial behaviour and crime and all the other bits and pieces. And as part of that, this is what they've done. Interestingly, the way they've framed this is, and anyway, for the way they've framed this is that they are going to be positively influencing young people at an earlier point in their life journey, and will therefore have better outcomes in terms of, I don't know, the trajectory of youth crime and other bits and pieces.
Hi, George, keeping it real times. No?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
That is not how that works. You know what they say. You want to get a child in touch with the criminal justice system as early as possible. That is how the saying. You want people to have cops in their lives as much as possible, as early as possible, to achieve, maximal positive outcomes. I think everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. The solution to all the problems with youth crime is 10-year-olds in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that it's been staring us in the face. Like,
he knows what he did. You'll get your bluey back when you stop mounting a life of crime.
Yeah.
The quote here is we have this obligation to the child who has been let down in a number of ways over a long period of time, which of course is like the same argument they were having to raise the age of criminal responsibility. So it's like just the mental gymnastics of the marketing department at the Country Liberal Party is an interesting one.
To be clear, it was the previous government who raised the threshold to 12. Yeah. And now it's the CLP who's lowered it back down to 10. But the thing is, like, raising it to 12 is very much like supported by evidence. Like, people's frontal lobes are not done cooking until they are in their mid-20s. Like, their capacity for executive function at 10 is not fully formed. You cannot be criminally responsible for what you do as a 10-year-old because 10-year-olds' brains are not done cooking, not by a long shot. They're not done at 12. I have a 10-year-old
nephew.
Yeah.
What? Like, he could, the idea that he could go to prison if he was in the Northern Territory is astounding.
And unless he's Stewie from Family Guy's early seasons, who was a criminal mastermind hell-bent on destroying the world, like, I very much doubt that he's got the capacity for criminality. So it's just, as we all know, the evidence states unequivocally having contact with the justice system earlier in life leads to additional negative outcomes, which they lay out in this article. Like, it's not hard. And obviously law and order and safety, and people deserve to live in a state that's, safe and responsible and all that sort of stuff. But I think what everyone who's taken any kind of passing glance at the literature would agree is that the way you instantiate that kind of change is not with tough on crime, broken windows policing. It's with taking real sociological policy change to enact the way that the society is structured with regards to, poverty, education, making sure that people are appropriately fed and clothed. These are the antecedents to crime. We know this. We have known this for some decades. Policing crime harder and, and institutionalizing people at an earlier and earlier age is not going to work. It has not worked. It will not work.
But no, George, legislation and policy and all these sorts of things, they're not fun and sexy. It's all about the optics, and the optics is what we're really going for here. And those optics are more 10-year-olds in jail. Yeah. It'll look great for everyone.
It looks so good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
You get tiny little handcuffs. They'll be all
so cute.
It'll be great.
Yeah, it's like
for context for any listeners who may not be aware that the Northern Territory does have a bit of a problem with crime at the moment, and particularly with youth crime.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not denying the reality of
Yeah.
crime. Like, I understand crime exists, crime is bad. People should be safe from crime, right? Like, no one is arguing with that. But what I'm saying is the solutions to those problems are layered and multifaceted and take policy reform on a large scale over time rather than just like tough on crime. Like, Australia's got to kick crime in the fucking nutsack. Like, that's not the way that you actually solve crime. Like, it might look good, might help you get elected, actually doesn't do anything to solve the problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say, was that the reason why we're here in this position is that, over the last, 3 or 4 years, the problem has gotten worse, not better. And the Country Liberal Party were elected, I guess, on the platform of being tough on crime. That was a simple message which people bought into. Now, there are a number of other parts to this legislative package. They've basically increased the amount of things you can get arrested for, like in terms of like you can't publicly gloat about it online.
About doing crimes.
Some of the other ones. Yeah. Correct. It gives police more powers to use metal detecting wands on public transport and schools to prevent knife crime. What are we? There's a few other ones as well. Interestingly though, the Northern Territory already has an incredibly high rate of incarceration, which is about 1% of the population.
1%. 1% of the population is in prison. So they did a news conference here and essentially trotting out the mother of a man who was murdered, Declan Laverty. It was last year. It was murdered by someone last year who was out on bail for a previous alleged assault. And his mother, Samara, was involved in this press conference, really trying to push this message about, the fact that so many people are on remand and then still out there committing crimes is like unacceptable. And so we need to have, I guess, more stringent remand laws, which it kind of seems like just on the face of it at odds with the idea that Ms. Finocchiaro saying that the previous Labor government's policies had left the territory's prisons full and broken, is the quote, full and broken, unquote. And she flagged the CLP would soon release its plan to fix corrections. So they're saying that the remand system is broken. Presumably what they're saying is the solution to that is to not allow these defendants out on bail, which means they would be in prison, right, awaiting trial.
That's what remand is, by the way. So remand, if you're on remand, you're
on remand, you're not allowed to go out, right? You stay there until your trial. So they're saying that the previous government left the prisons full and broken, but they're also saying that the remand system as it stands is wholly insufficient and more people need to be on remand. It's like, where are those people going to go? They're going to be in prison. So it's like, they're saying that they've got a plan to fix corrections and reduce the strain on the system, but everything that they're doing in terms of like criminalizing younger people, right, allowing more stop and frisk type policies, which will lead to further arrests, like all of that is going to put additional strain on the correction system because there are going to be more people coming into it. So like, unless you are planning some kind of like multi-billion-dollar type funding rollout to boost the supply of services, infrastructure, then everything you're doing is going to create more strain on a system that you've just acknowledged is already full and broken. So I don't really maybe it's like unfair of me to expect the CLP to have considered that, but it's like, if you're going to run a state, you should have a plan for that, especially when it's the thing that you ran on. Like, maybe it's unfair of me to assume that they've like understood the problem that they are alleging to try and solve, but.
And this is even before we mentioned of those statistics of 1% of the population and all that sort of stuff being in prison, of how skewed to not white those people incarcerated are. Correct. So, talk about all these wider use of metal wand detectors and stuff like that. Oh, how do you think those are going to be used?
Well, exactly the same. I mentioned stop and frisk. That is the name of the policy as it was in New York.
The Giuliani thing, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know if it was Giuliani specifically that instead.
I thought it was under him.
He might have been
when he was mayor of New York.
It might have been around when he was around. I don't know exactly who brought it in. It was around for a while. So in any case, stop and frisk was essentially a policy like this where cops could pull over whomever they want for any reason at any time and frisk them
reasonable
grounds, right? In order to, confiscate, weapons and narcotics and things like that. And it was found by, I think it was the Supreme Court, to have been unconstitutional because it was essentially, as soon as you looked at the data, anyone who was looking at it was like, oh yeah, they're racially profiling. Like it immediately became a tool of the state to disenfranchise people of color. Like that's immediately what it was used for. And you can argue as to the success, like the viability or how successful the policy was at stamping down on crime. But if it comes at the expense of people's human rights, which it inevitably does, giving police state level powers to, pursue and search people for any, for any reason, that is inevitably going to result in people of color being unfairly targeted by the police system. We've seen it in the States. We've seen it here. We know it happens. Like none of this is a surprise. This is all completely predictable. And yet it seems like we're just barreling towards, I kind of thought we were past this, like tough on crime type narrative. We as a society were just figured that out, that it wasn't real.
I don't know where you got that impression, George.
No, right.
The bloodlust that people have any kind of concept of criminal is disgusting.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that, there's a lot of stories. A lot of people have been affected by crime in the Northern Territory, and
I'm not negating that.
And the instant response is, oh, we've got to crack down on it. Like that's the gut. It's the gut reaction. It's not a smart reaction.
But the gut reaction is. But you missed one word out there. We need to cut down on Aboriginals. That's the next part of that sentence. Is it always? It never goes part of. Well, we need to cut down on crime. It's like, oh, we need to cut down on the people of color creating the crime. Is always the immediate next part of that sentence, and it's reflexive in a way that suggests to me that it's not predicated on evidence. It is purely based on racial animus, right?
Racial animus, and perception.
Yeah, it's like it's racists all the way down.
Indeed. Moving along now to our next story. Moving to the rest of the world. Russia's been busy over the last week or two. It's been a bit of a week in the sun for Russia, perhaps. Not in the way they would like, though. They started off this week. There were reports coming out of Ukraine and South Korea that North Korean troops have been being shipped to Russia in their thousands and are getting trained for use on the front lines. So initially they were saying it could be sort of up to 12,000 North Korean troops. I think what's been confirmed now is we're saying 1,500 quote-unquote special forces have been moved, sort of gone through initial staging and are moving to the front line, and there's apparently another 1,500 on the way. If it is, I mean, it seems to be true from what there's video evidence of it, but it basically would be I guess, the first instance of a foreign military participating in the Ukrainian conflict, and participating in such a way as to be fighting on the front line as opposed to somewhere in the rear. Because there's been examples of, obviously, the West has provided lots of weapons and people to help train the Ukrainians, and the Iranians and North Koreans have already been helping Russia with, various logistics and drones and other things in the background already. So this is not good. Is the short hot take on this one? Not good, not great.
And we go to our senior, is it good or not good correspondent, Adam, with the take. Is it good or not good, Adam?
It is not good, George.
And thanks, Adam. And we turn to Tom with sports and weather.
Yeah, we're all hoping for a good. All praying for a good this week.
I really had my fingers crossed for good.
Yeah. That makes it, what is it, 2 years of not goods in a row.
That's 4,321 not goods to 6 goods. So that is an unfortunate ratio.
Still holding out for that.
I'm holding for the hat trick on goods. I think we can get 3 this year.
And the reason why it's not good, of course, is that it expands the conflict. So then you've got potentially other, countries that may say, well, if North Korea is fighting, then I guess we could throw some other foreign nationals potentially on the front line on the Ukrainian side, and maybe some other people go join Russia. And this is what we call escalation.
Yeah, oversimplifying it, but that's how World War I started, right?
Yeah,
everyone goes, oh, cool. Well, now we can get involved.
Like South Korea has basically said, we're not helping Ukraine or not, they've sent humanitarian aid. They said, we're not going to give you any lethal assistance. And they've been saying that for the last 3 years, and they've held firm on that. Now North Korea is doing this. Well, maybe South Korea might just, they've got some pretty good tanks. Maybe they'll send them across. So
hold my sake. Let's get in there. Sake, South Korean? Did I make that
you
up?
mean soju?
Soju?
I think it's Japanese.
Sake is Japanese.
Sake is Japanese.
God damn it. That would have been like a 3 out of 10 funny if I nailed the correct drink.
Yeah. No, it just came off as racist.
Hold my kimchi. Yeah, it's still racist either way, isn't it? Let's cut this.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as we can tell, that they'll be on the front line imminently if they're not already. So, yeah, I can't.
Right.
It's pretty weird. I mean, obviously, for North Korea, the question is, what are they getting out of it? And it would sound like they're getting some missile technology or potentially some hard cash. There's a bunch of other things that Russia can give them, which, the North Korean regime needs. Hilariously, though, this is all happening on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. What is the BRICS summit? The BRICS summit is basically the world gang led by Russia. And it's the people that, it's like when you're a kid, right? And you've got like your cricket set,
good.
And you've got your sports ball, you got your football, and then something happens, you don't like it, and you go, well, fuck you guys, I'm taking my cricket set or my sports ball, and I'm going to go play by myself over here, so you guys can't play anymore.
Oh, right. You mean it is specifically my football, right?
And I am going to go. Yeah. Anyway, so this is kind of like Russia being like, well, you guys can have your world economy, we're going to go create our own economy. Global banking system.
I create my own economy with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, basically. So BRICS was started as a way of Russia trying to circumvent global sanctions, basically.
So BRICS, so BRICS, it stands for what was it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I forget who the S was. But yeah,
and
so
now they've got it's grown.
Africa.
There's like 13, 15 people now.
Yeah, so and it's quite a large
countries.
36 countries now.
People. There's 15 of them now. There are dozens of us. Dozens in our cool alternative economy festival. Wait, where are you going?
Did I mention we have blackjack and hookers? So essentially what the idea behind this is to create an alternate, economic block. Like we've got, there's the G7. There's all these other kinds of multinational, like the UN, these multinational groups that, for the purposes of cooperation. Basically, BRICS was formed as a way of sort of coalescing some of the global South, the global East, to not form necessarily in opposition to the United States per se, but I suppose to provide a counterweight would be their argument.
For Russia, it's absolutely a way of.
It is absolutely now about stickier to the US saying suck eggs, but certainly when it was conceived, years ago, it was more about sort of, as we've talked about before, since the Bretton Woods Agreement, and the global world order has largely revolved around the deep liquidity of Americans' capital markets, and that's been behooves America, right? So the whole global world order, the way it's currently constructed, is around America and American finance. And that benefits chiefly America. And this because when things like the war in Ukraine started, the primary mechanism for trying to kneecap Russia was using the finance system, using sanctions, cutting them off from the SWIFT payment system, basically using the financial machinery that's been built up around the United States and for the United States' benefit to try and crush their enemies, right? There's a great book on this that I read about sanctions and how this kind of artifice built up over the years. And it really started in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, around the First World War. It's like super interesting history if you want to read about it. But the point is that is the primary way that America, or at least the first port of call when it comes to dealing with foreign actors, rather than just sending the military in a la George Bush. And
doesn't work when Russia gets around it, though, which is what they've been doing for the last 3 years.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember it was a big thing at the time, like, they're going to cut Russia off from the SWIFT banking system. It's going to cripple their economy. They're going to be absolutely turbo fucked. Like, there's no way they're doing it. Oh my God, they're doing it. It's happening. Russia's fucked. Like, everything's fucked. It's going to be turbo fucked. And didn't really do much of anything. So and there's a couple of reasons for that, as I understand it. Not that I've looked into this too deeply, but there's a number of connections that Russia has, like with North Korea, which is supplying them, like with China, like with India, which are kind of outside the bounds of that America-controlled world order, even though America is trading partners with China and India and obviously not North Korea for obvious reasons. Even though they have bilateral relations with those countries, they're not sort of in the sort of hub and spoke America first kind of world order that they've built, because it's sort of a multipolar world now between America on one side and China on the other side, and sort of India trying to play both sides and hang out in the middle. Like, it's a very different looking world than it was in the 90s, where American finance power could really crush people. There's also like the advent of cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of ways of moving capital around the world, which circumvents a lot of these American sanctions and restrictions, to the extent to which, like, those models, those ways of doing things in order to try and punish countries with sanctions, may not be as effective as they have been in the past, and will continue to be less effective as time goes on. And BRICS is essentially, this group has been instantiated to provide a counterweight to all of that. And they're looking to, and this is something which has been in like finance, being discussed in finance circles for a long time, it's to provide an alternative to the US dollar. So this is another thing, is like a lot of currency, a lot of international transactions that happen are facilitated by the US dollar. They get routed through New York, because of the US's deep, Tom's eyes are just glazing over. I'm so sorry. I'll be done with this in a second. Because the US has very deep liquidity, it means they're generally the first port of call when it comes to things like currency transactions, or getting credit from this thing while I transfer this thing over here and change it into other money over there. You tend to mediate all of those transactions through American dollars, because America has got the deepest capital reserves in the world. It's the easiest one to do business with. What BRICS is trying to do is to create some kind of, they don't really say exactly what it is.
It's going to be some sort of cryptocurrency. That's what it'll be.
They said some sort of like digital first currency is the aim.
Don't love that.
And it's going to be, so whether it's like, crypto per se, or it's just like a digital fiat currency, whether it's like kind of like a Eurozone of the East, like you have the Euro project in the European Union, where they're all part of a common currency. I don't think they're like, it seems exceedingly unlikely that they'll be able to pull something like that together, given the disparity of the countries that are in this group. But they could have some kind of like third thing, which is like somewhere between fiat currency and cryptocurrency, and it's like some sort of digital currency that's a common currency between all of us countries who are in this group, and we trade in monopoly money. We trade in Disney dollars, and that's the thing that we trade in. That could provide an alternate payment system to the American one, which I don't think it's a problem now, but I think in like 30 years.
In 20 years,
over
going to
time,
be a massive problem.
It's going to be a real problem for the US. And it just goes, it's like another brick in the wall of that diminishing American kind of like power and influence all over the world. Yeah.
What I find crazy about this, though, North Korea has just joined the war in Ukraine, and all these cunts are just lining up to shake Putin's hand. I find that astounding, and not when I say, I mean, there's China and there's not, there's some suspects there which have close, South Africa's had close ties to Russia for years, but for 36 nations now to be part of this, and just to be like, cool. I guess the draw card, it's being run by Russia. It was held in Russia this year, but I guess the big draw card in this is China, right? But, for India, just to be like, this is cool and normal. Meanwhile, they're currently having a border conflict with bloody China. Like, I find that the moral sort of
flexibility.
What am I trying to say? Yeah, like the moral gymnastics that everyone's doing here is insane.
I think over the past few decades, like the past decade especially, but the past few decades definitely, we've really kind of lost the plot about who we universally agree are the bad guys. Like, like North Korea.
Axis of evil.
Like,
you're either with us or you're against us.
Yeah. But like, North Korea, it's always been like, okay, yeah, no, like
bad guys.
You're signing up with them. That's wow, okay. But having said that, it used to be like, oh, you guys are Nazis. We're out. No, they're about to elect one president. So like, fucking no. The rules that we all established long ago of who's terrible don't apply anymore.
Yeah, world's are changing.
It is changing. Speaking of changing, AI is obviously on the rise. If you get through a week in this day and age without hearing AI somewhere in a sentence, you've done very well. I commend you.
You haven't been listening. You've been using your AI-enabled noise-cancelling headphones to... Oh, no, I just did it. Damn it.
So 2 stories this week on AI, and it's getting to the point of not being terrifying, but very creepy. And it's to do with AI's ability
the Jesus saving animals Facebook feed wasn't creepy enough for you already. That was pretty creepy.
No, that was good. Is AI's ability to use vocal, I guess, what am I trying to say? Vocal representation in the sense that an AI generated voice will speak and it will sound with intonation, the nuances of human language, just like
convincingly
I'm saying now.
like speech. Yeah.
Convincingly enough, in that it is not perfect. That they can use this in a variety of ways now. Now there's 2 ways that Tom, I'll talk about one and Tom will talk about the other, but the first one is that it's being used nefariously for crime. So there was an article 2 articles by Forbes this week by Davey Winder, who reported that, and he got some from a source, basically Sam Mitrovic, who's I think some works somewhere in cyber, but basically he was subject to a phishing scam, and that's basically what it is. It's a phishing scam where basically you get a couple of emails which look like they're from Google, saying you've got some action on your account, and then he proceeded to get a phone call from someone pretending to be
alleging to be
Google,
from Google,
alleging to be from Google. It was not from Google. It was an AI. He was speaking to someone, an AI voice, basically.
Yeah.
And it took him a while to work that out. So, the phone number looked legit. They just obviously spoofed the phone number. Traditionally, the way you get around phishing is you either call, text, you do another way to verify.
You have a direct interaction with the company that you think you're supposed to be dealing with via their website or their phone number, right?
Yeah.
You don't assume the guy who's calling you from CommBank is who he says he is. You call CommBank, right?
But if the guy from CommBank sounds, like traditionally, you call some of these numbers and you go, oh, it's not real. Like obviously, it's speaking to me in Mandarin. That's obviously
telling me to purchase Apple gift cards. Yeah, probably not legit.
Yeah. But if someone called me with a sweet talking American accent, maybe I'd think twice about that. So that's the terrifying thing. This scam has been reported in a number of different places, and it's currently going around. And I imagine these kind of phishing attempts will get worse.
But thank God that we're burning down the Amazon to facilitate this. It's totally worth it.
Oh yeah,
500 mils of water just to generate the prompt. Yeah, it's totally worth it. Oh yeah,
it's wonderful. And to do this and create fucked pictures,
AI slop, Jesus Rio de Janeiro in a glass of piss. It's just AI slop nonsense.
I saw actually, before we get onto the other example of AI, someone just make the point that, oh no, like AI bros have discovered the concept of thinking, and they'd seen like a post from someone who said like, I was halfway through like really trying to get like what the correct prompt I should give ChatGPT is, where I realized the solution to my problem. I was like, so you sat there thinking about it for a while and you came to the solution. That's what you've discovered. You discovered thinking. You thought about the problem.
Yeah. If you just create a detailed enough prompt and put all the things that you want in the prompt and write it out in a detailed way that's very structured, you've just written a paragraph. Like you just did the thing that you were wanting to do.
You did the thing.
Yeah. Just like fucking, can we just all write our own emails?
It's like that.
Microsoft Copilot's here to help, Tom. Microsoft Copilot's going to sort you out.
Oh, your laptop's AI enabled now. Aren't you glad? It's
so glad.
There's it's like that running joke in tech how like on a long enough timeline every tech company recreates a bus.
Yeah.
And where it's, and there's all these examples from like Uber and like recently Tesla just released a thing where it's like, it's like a node-based multimodal transport for multiple, it's a bus. So you just created a bus again. Like we don't, it's like Uber X is like,
transport.
It's like, it's a mass transportation, but it picks you up at certain set points and takes you to the airport. It's a bus. You just created another bus. We already have buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom, this next story is insane.
So
tell us about what they're doing in Poland.
Yeah, this next one's on Adam's side of things, where they're using it to steal people's money and phishing scams and all this sort of stuff. This is more the capitalist hellscape version where AI is coming for people's jobs. So a radio station in Poland decided to fire all its DJs or like the people hosting the radio shows and replace them with AI DJs accompanied with these like weird AI generated photoreal but not like profile
clearly
pictures
AI
of
images,
them. Like you can tell that something's like an AI generated thing, but they still look like a person. Anyway. So they created 3 new hosts for a radio program. This is at OFF Radio Kraków. I'm pronouncing that horrifically probably, but I just took a stab. So it had 3 hosts. Their names are Emilia, Cub, and Alex. And they would just talk through the events of the day in like a 2-hour program, 5 days a week. They also would broadcast music and stuff like that. But yeah, these are people who are, quote, modeled to be representatives of the so-called Generation Z.
What do you mean so-called?
So-called, yeah, that's what they are called, to attract a youth audience. And so I think...
now, if you actually had a Gen Z working for you, that they would say, don't say so-called Generation Z, like our youth audience that you're trying to attract would not find that appealing, like that, because that's nonsense.
We much prefer Zoomers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this was problematic for 2 reasons. One, all the people who lost jobs are all like, oi, this is all the stuff that everyone told us not to cry the sky is falling over, and then you literally did it. But also the AI interviewed a dead poet.
Yeah, I hate this. Like
this is terrifying.
Thanks. I hate it.
Yeah. Only a few days into broadcasting, I'll quote from the ABC here. A few days into broadcasting, the new hosts caused further outrage when they interviewed 1996 Nobel Prize winner and esteemed poet Wisława Zizborska. And they chatted with the host about the recent Nobel Prize winner of literature in 2024. Which weird thing to ask this person about, given they're dead. And then they also talked about Pedro Pascal for a bit as well. But this poet's been dead for 12 years. Why is the AI doing this? Like, it was just so...
To be fair, they were given permission by the state or the foundation, I think, to do it. So it wasn't like they had nothing.
He's just some fucking guy. Like, I could not think of anything more horrifying than my likeness being resurrected years after my death in order to give voice to thoughts that I never had or never... Like, it's the whole thing. It's incredibly fucking creepy.
Yeah. That crazy,
some guy said it's okay. Oh, it's good. It's all right. We got the guy's permission. Who's some fucking guy? Okay.
Yeah. We went out to get their permission. I mean, okay, great. That makes it slightly less unethical, but it's still a crazy thing. Like, what does this? Like, the perspective of a fake version of a dead person on Pedro Pascal serves what?
It's I don't understand the point.
Nothing at all. It's
and they said, "Oh,
terrifying.
don't worry, the content's checked by real journalists, so it's okay." And I'm like, well, then why don't you just put those real fucking journalists on the radio and let them talk? Like, what is the? I don't. Why are we doing extra to facilitate fake radio? Just get some kids. Yeah. You think there aren't two fucking millennials who would work for 20 cents an hour and a ham sandwich to get on the radio and fucking talk about culture? Like, they're the cheapest fucking generation to hire by definition. Like, just get who wants to listen to fake people talking about fake, possibly inaccurate stuff. Like, it is sapping the joy out of you. It is doing literally the opposite. You know when John Maynard Keynes, the intellectual and economist in whatever it was, the 1930s, said something to the effect of, like, we're going to get so productive, productivity is going in a straight line up and to the right, that by the time we reach the end of the century, people are going to be working 15-hour weeks. And the rest of the time, they're just going to be hanging out, doing leisure, creating art, doing stuff that they really love to do that provides them enrichment. Obviously, that didn't happen. Work weeks have gotten longer than ever. And now AI is doing the fun stuff, which is the art and the writing and the creativity. Like, all those things. Not only are our jobs being fully replaced and getting taken away, and now you're left with nothing, but you can't even do the creative pursuit, the thing that was meant to fill your heart up with joy and sustenance and feeding your soul, because that's been cheapened because of the flood, the infinite additional supply of AI slop versions of that thing, which then brings the currency of your human created version of the lovingly created, soulful, heart-filled version of that thing. The currency of that goes down to fucking zero, because anyone with a keyboard and a voice assistant can create a half, satisfactory copy in 3 seconds while burning 3 trees in the Amazon. Like, it's just like, it's the worst possible version of the future that we've created for ourselves.
How do we reckon they're doing this? Do you reckon it's like they obviously get the AI to spin up its own copy, and then they check the copy before hitting go on? They
would write a script. They would get it to write a script. No. The AI would write a script. They'd say, here are the prompts. We want you to discuss this, this, and this. Make sure that, Carla is, like, appropriately coquettish and sexy and a Gen Zer. Like, they give it the prompts or whatever. They say they're going to discuss these topics. Give us a script that's roughly an hour long. And then they get a script. And then they feed that script into another AI, which turns that text into speech. And then they just play the audio of that. I
love it. Like, everything that kind of, to reassure everybody, the journalists checked everything in the script before they put it out. What are they going to check? These are the not real opinions of a dead woman.
Whether Pedro Pascal is a zaddy or not. Like, obviously he is, but how does the AI know that?
Yeah, how do you fact check the not real opinions of a dead person?
Also, number one, bullshit. I very much doubt real journalists are checking it. And number two, for how long? Like, are they really going to keep journalists on staff in perpetuity to facilitate the AI?
Once they trust the algorithm, they'll be like, whatever.
Yeah, that'll be gone in 2 months. You're literally putting, like, it is the flooding of it is the emblematic of the flooding of our information space with AI slop. Now, not just in, like, images and, like, potential news stories, but also in, like, conversations. You'll be listening to a conversation now and you won't know whether it's fucking real or not. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe that anyone wants to listen to a fake fucking conversation from not real people. I just don't fucking get. And the irony is the fucking 10,000 hours of podcasting that we've done up until this point is, I have no doubt, training some of these fucking cunting algorithms to further ruin this for everyone. Like, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Help. Blink twice if you need help, George. Blink twice.
I think I've broken him, Adam.
We cooked him. And of course, the other thing that we mentioned at the start there is that to run a lot of these AI SaaS sort of platforms, they're all run in the cloud and they've got server farms in various parts of the world. But these server farms use crazy amounts of power,
energy, and water. Microsoft has just signed some, like, multi-billion-dollar deal to get nuclear power from the previously shut down 3 Mile Island, specifically for the purposes of having baseload power that is carbon neutral in order to power their AI expansion. Like, this is a legitimate thing that is affecting. Bloomberg did an episode the other day about like capital markets and how capital markets are going to respond to this exploding demand in energy infrastructure and how they're going to like use the liquidity of capital markets to fund all of these new projects in nuclear, which are now being created for the purposes of like, you know, bigging up this, supporting this AI explosion that's happening. Like, it is really profoundly nuts what's going on. And I don't.
But how good
like
Spotify DJ?
It's not good, but it's not even like, it's not even the good stuff. Does that make sense? Like, it's not even the stuff that you want or that you would need out of AI. Like, it's one thing like, oh, get AI to like draft me a better worded version of this thing or get it to write this email response. It's like actively sucking the joy and the creativity and the life out of human existence. Like, I just can't, I just don't understand why we're doing this to ourselves. But the graph's got to go up and to the right. So,
oh yeah, if you want to have some catharsis in that, there's a clip of Miyazaki, the director of the Studio Ghibli movies, where some young guys are showing off, like, and this was a while ago, like 10 years at least. So before the AI boom, of showing off like a computer program being able to like animate and create characters. And his response is something along the lines of what you just said, of like, the person who designed this knows no joy.
Yes.
Like this, like he says something really profound about how this is like, devoid of joy and the human experience and condition. And you just see the faces of the people being like, oh boy. Like, well, we fucked up.
But that's exactly it. Like, and Miyazaki films in particular are like so emblematic of like deep work and profound joy and reflection, like spending time with handcrafted, painstakingly handcrafted images to create something that is like full of soul and human spirit. His films are notorious for that. And this is the guy who did like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. It is like a really distinct style of animation and storytelling that is like fucking weird and profoundly human. And you will not get an AI that is able to replicate it in the same way. And even if they can, I don't want that. Like, I want the creators doing cool stuff. I don't want ripped off versions filled. It's just like the business. I'm so angry at this. I don't know why the radio, maybe it's like personal because it's like, it's what we do. It's podcasting, but like, it just makes me so mad. Because it's like,
you guys hear about
sorry, go on.
I was going to interrupt you.
The AI podcast. Didn't I say that to you guys?
Just the one with the girl band where all they do is talk about.
Oh, the girl band.
Drugs. Have you heard about this one?
Yeah. I forget their names, but they're party on cocaine girls.
Yeah, it's all just...
You told us. You told us, right?
It's just about...
I sent that to you guys because I had the freaky thing of... little insight into my personal life. I saw a drag queen do a performance to that song, and I was just like, this is funny. And then I found out it was an AI band. I had no idea in the moment. So it was one of those like, oh fuck, are songs that I hear even gonna be fucking real anymore? The drag queen bit was hilarious. But the context for that is that like the AI has created there's a band which is AI generated, I guess, and all that. And I don't know what prompts they're giving it, but all the songs are
just like talking about cocaine related,
doing shit tons of coke.
Just to cap this all off, the thing that like really frustrates me about this is that it is a business that is predicated on stealing other people's businesses. And prior to like big tech, it's not a thing that you could do. Like, you couldn't just say, like, so many of these big tech businesses, their business model is just take a thing which exists and then just like, fuck it. Just like fuck it up and break it. Like, okay, it's like taxis, except the taxi drivers are no longer the means of production and we insert ourselves in between you and the taxi driver and we take a cut and now they're penniless people who drive you around until we can replace them with driverless cars. Like, it's just like they're taking the labor, taking the creative efforts and force of people and then just like eliminating the middlemen. And and that's the business model. It's just stealing. The business model of AI is stealing.
Like,
if I was just a guy, I couldn't go and get 7 habits of highly successful people and just go, this is George's 7 habits of highly successful. Yeah, I could just like go and publish it under my own name because that's theft. But if you do it in aggregate and you steal everything and then make a business model of stealing everything all the time from everyone, then all of a sudden you're a billionaire. It's like, explain that to me. Like,
well, same with
why
the
is that
animation
allowed?
thing. Yeah, same with the animation thing, right? Of like, oh, even if you like, they have created AIs that based on prompts are able to generate coherent video.
Yeah.
And I've seen people do like, oh, I've made a different CGI style of a Ghibli thing or whatever, right? But the only way it's able to do that is because Ghibli exists.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like that's the thing. You can have the best AI in the world, but how these things work is they just ingest shit tons of other people's stuff and imitate it. Like, it
Wait
can't
until
do
they
it on
start.
its own. Yeah.
Wait until they start eating their own shit.
Yes.
Well,
we haven't hit the singularity yet.
This is the thing. Like, if all of this AI slop is out there and being generated, and then that's what's being ingested by these large language models and being used as the training material on which to train further iterations of the model, you've got an infinitely recursive Mobius strip of shit eating, snake eating its own asshole, shit flowing, going around and around. And that's now going to be the information space and also our creative space. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Who chose this?
That's all because, I'm a software developer. So, yeah, there's like AI prompts and things we can use to like give suggestions in our code and stuff like that. But I've seen people saying, hey, maybe a good idea is we should all start writing like bad code. to make those prompts
to fuck
not
with the
very
prompts.
good.
Yeah.
Like, still, the code still works, but just don't do it neatly or nicely. Spaghetti code. Just go a bit crazy just to make it shit. Which, maybe power to them.
Speaking of infinite shits.
Infinite shits, or I was going to say, like, let's speak. We were talking about the lack of joy in the world. So let's talk about something maybe that's a bit more joyful. Arnold Palmer's dick.
So
we've now got 15 minutes for George to just brain fart out.
To just brain
America.
fart in this. We have 15 minutes left, and we are talking about Arnold Palmer's dick.
Okay, so Donald Trump, you may know, former reality TV host and current gigantic piece of shit Donald Trump, you may know is running for president of the United States, and for some reason that I cannot possibly fathom, I don't know how we're here, I don't know why this happened, he is within striking distance. The polls are neck and neck, and some polls there is the perhaps the impression that Donald Trump might even be pulling ahead. It is looking bad. The vote is on November 5th, November 6th. So
November 6th, our time in Australia. 6th, so it's like a week and a half from now.
So, yeah, not next week, but, after next week. Next week's episode of the podcast will be the last one before the American election happens, and Adam can happily not hear any additional news about Donald Trump.
Oh, no, it'll get worse because it'll be like he'll get in.
Yeah, remember after the last election, all the news happened after that.
Yes, that's true.
Total landscaping, all the stuff. Like,
yeah. Arnold Palmer was a golfer, and
he's a golfer
for reasons that are unbeknownst to anyone. Trump decided to spend about 10 minutes of his speech in Pennsylvania talking at length about Mr. Arnold Palmer's genitals. So
it was his hometown.
Yeah,
that's what.
It was Arnold Palmer's
that's not what. Don't say it like that. Explains it. There are plenty of hometowns.
Well, there's the leak.
When I go to Philadelphia, I don't start talking about Rocky's cock. Like there's not a good reason to do that for a grown man.
That's weird. When I go back to my hometown, I talk about my dick all the time.
Okay. So here's Trump in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, saying words about Arnold Palmer's cock for just absolutely inexplicable. I don't know how this is close between these two fucking people. You're just like generic Democrat versus this.
Why? The home of Arnold Palmer. This was the home of my friend Arnold Palmer. And he loved Latrobe. He turned out to be one of the greatest golfers in the world. But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when He took showers with the other pros. They came out of there. They said, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable." I had to say it.
Did you? Did you have to say it?
Yeah.
I refused to say it,
you?
and then says
also,
it.
The guy was all man, like but I don't quite understand. Like, Trump said something I don't quite understand. Shock horror. But like, he was all man, and with respect to women. And I like women. Like, wait,
and I like women.
That you described a man as all man, as in he wasn't like. What? Like, what is? Oh, it just makes no sense.
Why is any of it? Why is it happening?
He's jealous of the masculinity of
Arnold Palmer. He's saying that he had a big cock. That's what he's talking about.
But like I'm saying, more politely than
not like like his manhood or whatever. Like he's explicitly talking about his big old dick. This is his closing message in Pennsylvania 2 weeks before the election. Did I ever tell you about Arnold Palmer's crazy huge dick?
I mean,
in all respect to women, and I love women.
The way he said that was.
Oh yeah. Well, because we all know Trump's history and actions, so hearing him say "I love women" carries some connotations. That,
there was a model that came out this week and said that he groped her. That in actuality it was Jeffrey Epstein who introduced them, basically
in front of Epstein.
Yeah, in front of Epstein, he groped her. And apparently him and Epstein are actually quite good friends and interacted regularly. So like a cool fun fact about the next president of the United States.
Cool, great fun fact. But no, the pedophile ring conspiracy is nothing to do with them. No.
But it's Hillary's fault. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So that was insane. And fortunately, for us, I suppose, as purveyors of comedic material to do with Donald Trump, it only escalated from there. Like, I think in previous weeks, that might have been the zenith of the fucking batshit Donald Trump insanity. But turns out that was only the taster. That was the start of the ascent up crazy fuck mountain. And we've got, summit, we're reaching base one now, where Donald Trump then turned around and spent some time serving fries in Pennsylvania. So believe it or not, the image I'm about to show you is not, in fact, an AI-generated image. It is, in fact, Donald Trump at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania putting fries into a bucket next to a 23-year-old man who really wished that he could be doing anything else. Like, the choices that he made should not have led him to where he is at this exact moment in time, becoming... Yeah, and it's Trump. Trump's he's in a suit and tie shirt, big red tie, and proceeds to go and spend this video of this. You can go and watch it if for some reason you want to do that to yourself, where he's serving people and he's commenting on the fries. These are obviously pre-approved people that have been waved through by the Secret Service. They're not actual customers, but they're acting like, oh, what? It's Donald Trump. This is crazy. It's you signed up for this.
It's so stupid, and all in response to Kamala Harris saying she worked at McDonald's.
The whole thing is him completely baselessly.
That's not true, but
completely baselessly, without any evidence, saying that she never worked at McDonald's for reasons. Why would that? Even if she didn't work at McDonald's, why would that be a reason? I don't understand that. What's the communications link? What's the message that he's trying to she's not working class, but me, New York real estate billionaire developer, is actually working class? What are you talking about? Yeah. What's the message, Donald?
And just crazy that McDonald's even got involved here. That allowed them to do it.
It was a franchisee. It was just one guy at one McDonald's that said, great, you can come in and hang out at my McDonald's. And so McDonald's International is we're not red or blue, we're golden, which means we're not red or blue, we're green. We just care about money. Please don't get us involved in your partisan nonsense.
We don't care what your political leanings are. Just please, dear God, buy our fries, please.
Unlike Trump, we don't poison the blood of America with immigrants. We poison it with diabetes.
It is a very Australian thing to do, though, which is I'm surprised.
Try to look like a common man.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised US politicians don't do this more.
Pulling a beer at a pub. That's the classic one.
Getting coal dust if you're Matt Canavan's, putting it all over your face.
Yeah. That's the thing, Adam. The reason they don't do this is because like they always look like a fucking tool. Like, you know, like fuck, I'm not even trying to run for office. I'd look like an idiot trying to pull a pint in a pub. Like there's a skill to it. Like fuck.
Yeah, remember when Scott Morrison like washed a woman's hair in the last election?
Yeah,
so weird.
God.
And she's just like, I came in for a blowout. So I don't know why Scott Morrison is like massaging my head all of a sudden. But this is a strange thing to be happening.
Yeah, my hair didn't need to be washed. He insisted. This is weird.
So yeah, if you're an American for some reason listening to this, if you want to see some weird shit, go and just look at countless Australian photo ops where they've just gone in and taken over a local small business for the day.
Or just look at Bill Shorten eating a sausage in bread sideways and just go from there.
Yeah, you never eat anything on camera. That's for one. So the insanity continued. There's a super PAC that's announced that they're going to be targeting anti-Trump ads to swing state porn viewers with the message quote.
Sorry, what?
No, you heard me. So the anti-Trump ads will be targeted towards porn viewers in swing states, saying, quote, enjoy while you can, essentially making the argument that Trump's Project 2025 has a number of provisions that are anti-abortion, anti-sex work, anti-pornography, and if they are enacted, you, guy with your cock in your hand, will not be able to enjoy the thing you are currently enjoying if you elect this. And it's obviously got to do with the problem that Kamala Harris's campaign has with young men who she leads, but she only leads them by about 4 points, whereas with young women, she leads Trump by about 30 points. So it's essentially pre-roll ads for porn saying, hey,
you're ready to go. And then Pornhub's like, rather than talking about the sexy singles in your area or whatever the hell it is.
Now that you've got your cock in your hand, here's Donald Trump's face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I'm all for, I think, the context that they're targeting them in with that messaging. Like, yeah, obviously, if you're concerned about the things like pornography are going to be banned and gotten rid of, then like, yeah, perfect kind of, they're the right audience. But how are the porn websites allowing this? Because it's just going to alienate their audience.
Well, I think they're also
money.
They're also interested in porn remaining available, right, as a porn distribution website.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. But like, yes, obviously they're interested there. But if your customers are going there, like, you know, it's of an evening. You've got the place to yourself. You finally like maybe have worked up enough courage to look past the shame you know you will inevitably feel at the end of this, to like be willing to load up the video, and then bam, something about Donald Trump. Like, oh man.
I mean, who doesn't just skip the ads? Like, who's watching the ads on?
Hey, Adam, haven't you heard? Brazzers is free.
Yeah, Adam. I don't know. Like a fraction of a frame of Donald Trump, I think would be enough just to absolutely to kill your erection.
That'd be enough to put me off. Yeah,
gone. Absolutely gone.
And yeah, it's just a clip of him talking about Arnold Palmer's gigantic cock. This is his closing message 2 weeks from the election. It's October.
In a swing state, right?
In a swing state. This is the thing that you want people to remember. And his closing message is, I gotta say, what a gigantic cock. What a guy.
Yeah. That guy from your town had a huge dick.
Just bizarre.
It's all good. Muslim leaders in Michigan just declared themselves for Trump, so fun.
Where'd you see that?
Literally a headline just popped up on my phone.
Yeah, it happened today.
What the ever living fuck? What the fuck is happening? Muslim? This is the guy. This is the motherfucking guy who tried to ban Muslims from coming into the... That was not that long ago. That was not that many years ago that these fucking guys aren't going to remember that. Who do you think is going to be worse on the Gaza conflict? The guy who says, level it. His son-in-law is the one who says Gaza is beachfront property, okay, needs to be fucking eviscerated so he can put in fucking, condominiums. Who do you think is going to be better on Gaza? Him or generic Democrat Kamala Harris? I don't understand this whole uncommitted... the uncommitted movement and this whole Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan is a city where I think it's like 150 something thousand people. It's like 55% of that city is Muslim. And there was this whole uncommitted movement where they basically went to the Democratic convention, said, we want a speaker from Palestine up on the stage. We want this, we want that. They didn't get it. And basically now they're encouraging, a large contingent of that base of support is now not going to vote for Kamala Harris, which could be the difference between winning Michigan and not winning Michigan, which is a swing state, which is one of the key states that Kamala Harris needs to win. I would ask the people in these states, do you really think of all these issues that you've highlighted your concern around with regard to Gaza, with regard to, being a person of color in America? There are all of these many, many, many examples that Donald Trump would be worse for you on all of these issues. Are you really going to vote for him over Kamala Harris because she's not inspiring enough? Like, fucking grow up. Politics is not created to inspire you. You need to pick the best option, that it's your job as a citizen. I'm sorry that Kamala Harris didn't come to your house personally and give you a little hand job, but that's not her job. Your job as a citizen, as a fucking grown-up, as an adult, is to look at the two options and pick the best option. That's what democracy is.
Well, in America, they don't have to vote, so because freedom.
No, so, I know they don't have to.
That's not their responsibility.
But when the choices are better than what we've got, or fascism, it's incumbent upon you. You have a civic duty. You have an ethical responsibility as a human being to get up off the couch that you're fucking and do the right thing.
Hey, there's only one guy fucking that couch.
You're right. And he's voting for Trump.
He's never fucked a couch. What are you talking about? It's a lie. There was no couch involved. It was a sofa.
It was an armoire.
So there's an article that's come out, Guardian, and it's sort of collated a few different things here. George, what am I reading?
So massive news this week. John Kelly.
George posted it, by the way, 10 minutes before the show started. So.
Okay, well, it was big, massive news throughout the week, so fucking crack a book. Massive news throughout the week. John Kelly served as Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security in 2017 and then became his White House Chief of Staff, conducted an interview on the record with the Wall Street Journal, which is recorded. You can go and listen to the audio of this, although with all the AI slop bullshit out there, I don't know how people are believing anything, but it has been widely reported that he has called Trump an idiot and a fascist. Okay? Kelly recently said his former boss fitted, quote, into the general definition of fascist, who certainly prefers the dictator approach to government. Okay, literally, while he's on the phone with a reporter from the Wall Street Journal, they're like, okay, well, let's look up he goes, do you think Trump is a fascist? And he goes, well, let's look up the dictionary definition of fascist. Okay, far right, authoritarian, has XYZ tendencies. And he's like, yeah, it meets the definition of a fascist. I absolutely believe he is. When former administration officials of yours, like John Kelly, like your chief of staff, Mark Milley, who is chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, these are not like far left, communists. These are Republicans appointed by Trump, by a Republican. When dozens of these people, to a person, are calling him, quote, fascist to the core, and, saying that he's doing great and irreparable harm, when his former vice president won't vote for him because of those things, that says something about the character of that candidate. And I don't understand how it's close. Like, if it was any other person ever in history, like Howard Dean didn't win because he laughed, he shouted too loud. And everyone was like, well, we're all done with Howard Dean. He did a weird yell. And so now he's never going to be president. And, that was just one thing that happened. Just one day, he had a weird, loud shout. And then that was the end of his presidential run. And Donald Trump on day one is like, Mexicans are rapists. And everyone's like, go on. Another 10 years of this, please. What the fuck is wrong with you, America? What the actual fuck? Anyway, there's a whole list in the article. Go read the article. It's dozens of former Trump people saying Trump's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Colossal piece of shit.
And it's also interesting, though, that these guys were the ones that were like John Bolton. These were the guys that were brought on at the start of the last government, or whatever.
The adults in the room who are no longer going to be around.
Yeah.
What John Bolton said about Trump. Bolton has said Trump is, quote, unfit to be president, unquote, and hasn't got the brains for dictatorship. John Bolton would know because he's the one who accidentally admitted on CNN that he'd done a bunch of coups.
Yeah.
So he knows from dictators.
Yeah, I've done a coup a few times. Like, excuse me? Oh, no.
I remember I was in Greece. This is like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was in Greece. I was sitting on a bed and I was like half out of my mind with COVID. And I just had CNN on because I was just needed something to look at. And I literally get this straight. I was just like, did John Bolton just accidentally admit to doing a bunch of coups? Like, am I high? What the fuck just happened?
Yep. That's exactly what he did.
And there's also an article that we'll post in the show notes, so we haven't got time to go over it here because we're already massively over time, but it's called The Very Real Scenario Where Trump Loses and Takes Power Anyway, which essentially runs through all of the various scenarios where Trump might lose and take power anyway. And it's very insightful, detailed reporting, which talks about how the Trump campaign and Project 2025 and other analogous operations, super PACs, have laid the groundwork for potentially trying to steal another election. And it's terrifying, and read it. The link's in the show notes.
Yeah,
okay.
Reading one of these here, it's essentially what happens, spoilers, but happens in Veep. Like at one point of, the Electoral College failing. So jumping over to the House to pick and the House not being able to pick. So the Senate picks, the Senate can't pick. So the president of the Senate does it and picks who they want.
Yeah,
you wanted a blind reaction to this. I have not watched this clip.
Okay, we need to finish on something funny and kind of like not completely doomerish. So what I've done is I've got this clip of Tucker Carlson. He did an address at a rally in Georgia, and it's just straight up bizarre and weird. Like, I don't know who the fuck these freaks are, but apparently. Anyway, just I need your, as I said, blind reaction to Tucker Carlson's speech here.
And the second reason you can't allow it is very familiar to anyone who has children, which is if you allow it, you will encourage more of it. If you allow people to get away with things that are completely over the top and outrageous, if you allow your 2-year-old to smear the contents of his diapers on the wall of your living room and you do nothing about it, if you allow your 14-year-old to light a joint at the breakfast table, if you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're gonna get more of it. And those kids are gonna wind up in rehab. It's not good for you and it's not good for them. No. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed. He's not vengeful. He loves his children. Disobedient as they may be, he loves them. Because they're his children, they live in his house. But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's gonna have to let them know. He's gonna have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. What? I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way. It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only gonna get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
Who are you seriously going to America? Are you seriously going to elect these fucking freaks? I checked. This is not AI Polish radio DJ. It's not AI. This is real. This is a real thing that actually happened. You're actually going to let these fucking freaks control your government? What the actual fuck is wrong with you?
Well, this is Tucker Carlson, but
Get
Tucker
it together.
Carlson
Get it together, America.
That's crazy. Did anyone check
A vigorous spanking?
Did anyone check like Tucker Carlson there? Because like the podium came up to his chest. Was he rock hard behind there?
First of all,
that shirt, like he started like really going on some. And I'm gonna spank you because you've been a bad girl.
Bad girl.
Like, okay, this is taking it
First of all, why am I hard?
Yeah, like the metaphors around like, okay, discipline and all these sorts of things. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm following you. I just don't agree with you. But then, yeah, that got really, really horny.
I hope he doesn't turn. I hope he doesn't turn sideways because that lectern's going to come right off its hinges.
Has he got children? He must have children.
No, guys, it's not fair. Like, let's not kink shame Tucker Carlson.
Hey,
okay? Like
you're into whatever you're into.
You're into whatever you're into.
A
vigorous spanking. I mean, what was weird is the crowd was loving it. You could hear us like a woman in particular, a single woman being like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
what is going on with you, lady? What is your problem? That you're like, yeah, vigorous spanking from Tucker Carlson. What is happening?
Well, or even before that, of just the concept of like, yeah, like he was listing out all the bad things that would be happening, and then dad comes home. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Shitting on single mums or just mums as authority figures in the house. Mm-hmm. That's hurtful. What?
But I think it's actually an interesting point that you raised there, Tom, because I think it's actually like, yes, this is all funny and silly and ridiculous, but what it shows, and I don't think I'm reading too much into this, is that it shows that on the right wing there is a real thirst for an authoritarian, strong man, paternalistic kind of figure. Like, it shows that there is a hunger for fascism on the right. They want a daddy. They want Il Duce to fucking get in there and give him a spanking and tell him what to do. They want to be fucking dominated. And the thing is, there are people who would do this at a far smaller cost to the country than Donald Trump. You can hire someone to dominate you at very reasonable prices.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, there's that kind of domination, but I think it's more sinister than that. It's in they want someone to come in and be dominant and discipline. Discipline the people they see as being disobedient.
Yeah, they're thirsty for fascism. That's what this tells me.
And the people they see as being disobedient are, at the most generous read, Democrats. At the more realistic read, it is minorities.
Browns.
And,
I think where it is it's more to do with this is a big part of the whole family values, the gender, this fear they have on the right that traditional roles in society are being sort of,
let's call it what it is, Adam. It's racism. It's fascism. These people are freaks. Okay.
But
these are freaky fucking weirdos who are trying to take over the fucking country. Okay. Let's call it what it is. Don't dress it up. Family values and people are just wanting to return to a nuclear family. No, it's bullshit. These are fucking freak weirdos. These are 1930s fucking Nazis. They are 10 minutes away from goose stepping in the fucking streets. These are fascists, actual fascists. Thank you.
Yep.
I was going to say that there's a preoccupation in the right wing, particularly in the right wing media, about having strong male roles and the need to have, strong male roles back in society, and that somehow we've been weakened by removing masculinity.
Oh my God, just come out already.
Family.
God, who cares?
So anyway, it's stemming off that sort of that media train, and that is a common talking point in
I think they equate the two, right? They equate strong male role model, like when men were men, whatever, with fascism.
Fascism, and there's a mass, and I guess it's it's a fascist tendency, isn't it? Where the whole concept of diversity and inclusion and the mismatch. What am I trying to say? The the wider scope we now have for thinking about gender, that is, to a fascist eye, like that's a big X in the road. Like that is, you know, it's something that they can seize upon. And to large parts of the US, they resonate with that messaging, and it's doing quite well in
fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, and ultranationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of an individual interest for the perceived good of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
It's textbook.
It is textbook fascism. Like, I literally don't know what else to call it at this stage. And the fact that he's neck and neck with Kamala Harris, generic Democrat, it blows my fucking mind. I like, one way or another, this election is going to be over in a week and a half.
No,
but like the consequences.
This election will go on. They'll have the election, and then there'll be 2 weeks of vote counting. It's going to happen afterwards,
or whatever. No, I don't think it'll be 2 weeks, but like certainly, and the legal challenges and the way it's, you're right. It is gonna stretch on for weeks, but legal challenges and all that sort of shit and whatnot, and taking whoever takes power on the 6th of January, obviously that's going to be a whole fucking fiasco. I have no doubt. But like,
oh my God, yeah.
I cannot. All I imagine is just Putin sitting back in his chair at his very long table, just sitting back and just laughing balls.
Oh yeah.
You know, just seeing that the way this fucking country is ripping itself apart. It is so, like with everything we were talking about, the hurricane misinformation, it is just infuriating because it's not just like people aren't educated, people are dumb. It is like there is a half of American voters that are proudly, deliberately ignorant. They don't have the truth and they don't fucking want the truth. They want their own reality that they live in that is not evidence-based. There's Earth 1 and there's Earth 2. And Earth 2 is just completely untethered from fucking reality, and that's the way they like it. They are deliberately, proudly ignorant. I can never understand that mentality. I have no frame of reference for that. And I'm terrified that Earth 2 is going to be slightly larger than Earth 1, and they're going to win. I really think there's a very real possibility that they win. And that this is just the way the world is now. And every shithead, every racist fucking uncle that you ever sat next to at Christmas is going to feel fully entitled to spew whatever dog shit theory that he's got now because his guy is now the fucking president of the United States again. Like it is the motherload of bad ideas waiting to explode. And even if it's defeated, it's still not going to go away, to Adam's point earlier. Like, it's just incredibly, I don't know how we're here again. It's so depressing.
Yep.
On that note, we have been, we are, we also will be Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Make sure you follow us on all the bullshit social medias that are ruining the world, that have, do, or ever will exist, at our handle, at Unnatural Show. And make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at George Tsivos.
You can follow me on Twitter at Tom D. Heath.
And you can follow me down to Tucker Carlson's agent, where I'll be petitioning to do a therapy session with Tucker and really start to unpack some of the things we heard in that clip. Because I feel like someone hurt Tucker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Someone either really affected him.
Either too much or not enough.
I want to get to the bottom of that.
Bottom.
Sort of see what's going on.
Get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. Love your faces. We'll see you next week, provided that the world has not collapsed.